Hello, my name is Sweetzerlandia and welcome to Tutorial Tuesday. What we're going to be learning today is macros. If you don't know what a macro is, that's okay. If you do know what a macro is, you might still learn some things because I macro some things that are kind of goofy. So, I'm just going to clear this little screen here. Tutorial Tuesday. And I need to fix my stream. If you don't know... There we go. Alright. If I can hear myself talking, I know I'm doing something wrong. Alright, so very, very simple macros. Maybe not simple. Easy to learn, hard to master, perhaps, is the better thing to say. There are probably just infinite kinds of macros that you can have. And you can use them for anything. If there's a text command, you can do something with it. If there is a item, you can use it. Oh, I should have the opening ones. We'll have to make sure to remember that. So we'll do, let me make myself a little note here. Opening stuff. There we go. All right. So what we're going to do first is just kind of open some stuff up here. Now, if you have multiple gear sets, this is going to be a very helpful tutorial for you. Okay. So let's go ahead and first of all, what I'll do is open up my gear. If you are a cleric, this is what you have to look forward to. You don't really need all of it, but you have different kinds of gear that you're going to have over time. And so, yeah, if you're a cleric, you're going to have a lot of space in your inventory for gear, unfortunately, or a lot of pets to put stuff in for PvE. So this is my gear. This is my profile. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to make a macro. You hit U as in umbrella. I don't know why they have it as U, but that's what they have it as. Now you'll see I do have a few macros here already, and we're going to get into those. But first we're just going to do a couple of the gear ones. Now first what you're going to do is click New. And boop, there you go, you got a new macro. Now first what you're going to do is name it. And what I usually do is put RPVE, because I'm going to make a PvE macro. I tend to use my PvP armor more often, so these do tend to go in alphabetical order if you notice. So I put R first so that they'll be put beneath my PvP armor. And I usually will have all of my gear kind of look the same. I'll choose this for gear. You do have to put something in this one, so just I usually put the same thing depending on what the armor might be. So if let's say we're going to go ahead and do my HP set. So we've got RPVE, HP. This doesn't matter what you put here. This is just to let you know what it is when you're looking in this little window. And it's very, very simple. What we're going to do is we're going to go over to my PvE sets here and close all of the rest up to be nice and easy here. Alright, so this is my HP set. It's this top area. And what I like to do is usually put things in order of importance. And you'd think it would be your weapons, but it's not so much. Usually if you're changing your armor, you want to get that on first. There's more variables with it, so I usually start with armor, and if something goes wrong, I can find a weapon faster than I can find a chest piece, and that crazy, I mean, you look at, they all look the same, right? Alright, I start with my gloves, and we're just going to put it right here. Let me go ahead and undo that so you can see what I'm doing. These are just empty quick bars that I am using. You know how you have your quick bars? These are my other macros, so we'll move those. But you have your scale bars that you use for various things. All you have to do is just find one that's empty. Okay, so you go down to that little bottom side, and I'm not sure how much of my... Yeah, you can see all those buttons. Okay, good. Alright, so what we do is we're going to take these down, and we were doing my HP sets. We're starting with hands, because of course you want to cast your skills quickly. Feet, because you want to be able to run quickly. And then I go with gloves, or excuse me, chest piece, because that's the strongest part of your armor, and it's going to give you the most defense, or the most magic boost, or attack power. So I always kind of start hands, feet, because those are going to be the things that make you fast, and then the other things that are going to make you strong. One thing that can happen with a macro, if you lag if you get interrupted, if you're running down an area where you have a lot to load that's around you, if there's a lot of PvP and all the players, your computer is loading those, your macro might fail. That's why it's really important to check it. You'll get to know the sound of a macro that's working, and because you know, boom, 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 boom. Okay, that's how long it takes. That's literally the sound I hear in my head. Boom, 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 boom. And I didn't hear anything not go in. I didn't hear anything fall out. You'll hear different sounds when something comes off versus when something goes on. And so you'll get to know that. But what you want to do is try not to be running when you do a macro. You can be, depending on your computer, but if you have like not a high-end computer and you don't want to, just have your macro fail all over the place, just try and take a second to just pause, click your macro, and then move on. It will save you a lot of trouble, trust me. All right, so we have the HP armor. Now we're going to go ahead and put the hat. And I'm still using like Karum pieces, I think, in here, yeah. I don't PvE very much where I need an HP set. I need to upgrade some pieces, and I have like random armor that I just haven't socketed that I need to upgrade, but there we go. So there's my HP set, all in a nice little row. So what we're gonna do, we've got our little handy dandy macro here, and all you have to do is drag, click and drag all the way through. And the nice thing is you can see the numbers progressing, so you'll know if you missed one. But you should have 8 pieces when you're done. And what that means is it's the 3rd row, 1, 2, 3, of the 9th skill bar, and it's the 1st position. 1st position, 2nd position, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, all the way to 8. Now you're going to hit save, and you're going to see it show up here. I have a little meaning for all of these symbols. When I have a skill-based one, I have that because to me it looks like something getting hit. When I have this, it has to do with people. I have, because at different points they all meet together. It's just, this is what goes on in my head. I have a whisper macro that looks like I'm shouting or whispering. Flight, this looks like flight. For my gear, I use this one, just because I think it's pretty and it's different than all of the other ones. But it'll make it easier when I'm running down the street and I have to find where my macros are. I'm not going crazy looking for it. So all right, we've got our HP macro. Now what you're going to see is over here. Right now I'm just wearing some skins I threw on because I didn't want to be wearing armor. With my armor, I didn't like having to change accessories, so I don't. I purposely leveled handicrafting and I made some accessories that would hold up in PvP versus PvE. These work for, this is the Nolan set. It works for MSUP. It has block in it. It has HP in it. And I've tempered some of them. I haven't really gone crazy, but I have like +3 on each of the top ones and like plus whatever down here. Reason being is macros are really stupid when it comes to accessories. If they're named different things, if they're named the same thing, it's just, they'll overlap and fall out and look, you'll end up just with a mess. So if you have the ability to make some stuff, just don't worry about accessories. You'll see it in a lot of PvP videos and streams where the people will be running down the street and you'll hear them click their macro, and then you'll see them open up their inventory and be going through and picking out their accessories. And for really organized people, that works. I'm not really that organized. I tend to be a bit of a pack rat. I'm always running out of space. If you've ever watched my stream before, you've seen me trying to, desperately to make some space. So, yeah, that doesn't work for me. So I went with having one really good accessory set. So that's just hanging out there. I never take out my plume. I never take out my wings. But everything else, all this armor and weapons, that gets changed all of the time. A little aside, if you change your armor a lot and you have, if you change your weapons a lot and you have Idians on them, every time you change your weapons, that works towards weakening your Idian. So if you're a cleric, I hate to tell you, you're going to go through a lot more Idians. If you're a ranger who just has 2 bows, you're going to be pretty set because you don't change your weapon that often. Yeah, sorry to tell you. Song weavers, you have it made in the shade. All you have is that one harp, you're good to go. If you've got other fancy harps, like Rakusu, I know has like practically like an evasion harp or something. I know he's got a ton. He would have, if he's changing them all the time, he would run out of Idian. Most of the time with Cleric, though, just have an Idian budget aside or buy a bunch of them when you have money, because they are going to go out pretty quick. Hate to say it. All right, so let's go ahead and play with our macro here. You find it in your set, and what I want you to do is just keep an eye right here. Ta-da! And I've got my little outfit on. Yes, I decided to be festive. Now, one thing, I run into this problem because I don't PvE very often. I have some duplicates. My hammer, I've got like 4 enraged Hyperion maces because I was trying to get, I had a bunch of money and I was trying to get the staff. So, and I kept getting maces. And I was grinding Kina. I would buy a Hyperion box and then I would get a mace. And so I have a bunch of maces. So I have to change them sometimes. It's important as a cleric to have matching gear sets so that you know this isn't just a fashion thing. That told me when I saw it go, I was like, oh, those don't match. So I have a matching outfit, and right now I'm being festive because Christmas is coming up. I haven't really decided what I want to do, but I know what my HP set looks like, and if it doesn't look right, I know that my macro has failed. And so when I looked at that just now, I knew that the mace was wrong. Okay. Just because they're named the same thing. Unfortunately, with it, and I'll talk about that in a second with my PvP gear, if it's named the same thing, you're going to get one of those, but you don't know what it'll be. Alright? So we've got HP going. Now, if you need to change clothes really quickly, you hit it again. Ah! Makes you naked. So I'm going to throw my skins back on. Now you'll notice it did not care that I had put it in such a nice pretty row earlier. It just went and threw it on the ground. So I could take the time and go through and change them, but I'm not going to do that. Basically, there is a way to do it where you can have, based on where the things are in your cube, your macro will work that way. Like I said, I don't really prefer to do that because I'm not that organized. So we're going to go ahead and go to the next set. And I'm going to do this just a little bit faster just so we're not sitting here staring at me dragging things for an hour. But I like to keep my PvE gear in one spot and my PvP gear in the other so that I can find it a little bit easier later on. And I'm not really going to use the weapon for this one because I don't have a specific magic boost weapon versus PvE versus PvP because I use the same one. Like I said, I don't really like to have augmenting things, and as much as I use my magic boost weapon, I'd be paying augment all the time, and I don't really do a lot of GP instances or AP gathering, so I'd just be all the time augmenting my weapon. So I've been a little lazy in that regard. And I look at my gear as I was putting this together. I need to upgrade some things, but that's fine. So right now we're not going to put the weapon in there. So we're going to open up another one. And we'll do RPV. Ooh. Except we're going to spell it right this time. PVE. And boost. You can't type out the whole thing because it does make you abbreviate. But it's not like a code or anything. You just have to keep it short. Max 10 letters you'll see at the top. Alright, so then we just drag these in. And you'll notice that it's exactly the same as before, except now there's a 2 in the beginning because we're on the second row. Alright, and we're going to click it to make sure it worked. Poof! Now, my dress looks weird because I'm underwater at the moment. Ooh. So, don't look at that. But anyway, so we got that working. And I guess we're just systematically working through this section. And everything's just going to get thrown up there. It did go in an order. If you notice, it is in the order I had it in before. But I'd have to... all this stuff with the... No, I'm just not going to do that. It's crazy. Alright, so this is my M subset, which isn't done. And I'm not even sure if I'm going